This is another edition of What to Buy, where we take a look at every PlayStation 4 game coming in April 2018 and analyze which games you should buy at full price and other games that are probably better off for you to wait on a sale for. April is actually probably the lightest month of the year in terms of quantity of releases, but don't worry about that, there is definitely a lot of quality here. So without further ado, let's get into the games that are absolute buys, and we've only got two of them, but these two I would highly recommend dropping your full $60 on. Of course, right away, an absolute buy is God of War. God of War is arguably the most anticipated PlayStation 4 exclusive this generation thus far, and how can you disregard the fact it's the latest game from Sony Santa Monica Studio, and it's such a step in the right direction for the franchise that was getting a little bit stale after the release of God of War Ascension. Now the game is moving into the world of Norse mythology instead of Greek mythology, and it's really the facelift that the series was dying for. This looks to be the first in many God of War games with this new formula. I mean, a lot of the press already got their chance to play the game, and all of the reception has been positive, and I expect this to possibly be the best PlayStation 4 game this generation. That is not hyperbole. At minimum, when you look at the Metacritic score when the reviews are out, I see a 90, possibly even higher than that. So this is one, obviously, it's gonna be worth your full $60. And God of War itself will be launching to everyone on April 20th. Another game that's absolutely gonna be worth your $60 is Yakuza 6: The Song of Life. This isn't too hard of a prediction considering Yakuza 6: The Song of Life has already been released in Japan, and it got a very positive reception over there. If you've played the Yakuza games, you already know how good they are, and Yakuza 6: The Song of Life is the conclusion to the story of Kazuma Kiryu, and it looks to be capping that off in a big way, and expect this game to be absolutely packed with content. You're gonna be busy with it for a very long time. While God of War is gonna be a very satisfying single playthrough, maybe you'll go back and play it a second time, Yakuza 6 is gonna be that game that's gonna keep you invested for a very long time. And Yakuza 6 will be launching on April 17th. So God of War and Yakuza 6 are the two games that I would say are absolute buys for the month of April, but there are a lot of other smaller titles that look to be very interesting as well, so let's talk about those. With these games, I would recommend you to wait for the reviews, wait for a sale, but keep them on your radar. First, we have Project Nimbus Code Mirai. Project Nimbus Code Mirai is an exciting mech-based flying game inspired by licenses such as Gundam. It touts vibrant graphics, blistering action gameplay, and an epic storyline. Seeing this game in action, if you're a fan of mecha, it's gonna be something right up your alley. The game itself will have 16 missions in a variety of different locations, including floating cities, ocean fortresses, mountain bases, futuristic prisons, and battles in space. That alone sounds pretty interesting. Usually mechas are rather sparse in content, so that is something to keep in mind. The game was released in Japan, and IGN Japan scored the title an 8.5 out of 10, so that's really good, especially considering mechas aren't usually the highest of qualities outside of Zone of the Enders, but hopefully Project Nimbus Code Mirai can be something substantial. It'll be hitting the PlayStation 4 on April 10th. Another game that I would say wait for a sale on, and originally we thought this game was going to be released in March, but it was pushed back to April, and that is Owlboy. Now, Owlboy is a game that was already released on PC back in 2016, and it is an awesome game. Right now on Metacritic, it's sitting at an 88 out of 100, and IGN gave the game a 9.3 out of 10, so that's pretty good. It's got Metroidvania-style gameplay, and it's a very charming game with a great art style. However, the only issue is that the PlayStation 4 version of this game looks to be launching at $25, and I just feel like that's a little too much of an investment. The PC version can be found for very cheap. It was even available as one of the extra games for Humble Monthly, and when you look at it, for that, Humble Monthly is $12 and you get like 7 games with it, and Owlboy was just a part of that. Owlboy releasing standalone on the PlayStation 4, this isn't a very expansive game. If it does release at that initial $25 price point, I think that is a little bit steep. Hold off on it. If you see a sale and it's available for say $10, even $15, I think that's a lot more palatable. I just can't justify dropping $20 or $25 on it. That's a little bit too much. Nonetheless, I've played Owlboy. It's a great game and one that you should absolutely add to your wish list. It'll be coming April 10th to the PS4. A game that I'm personally very excited for that has come out of nowhere is the Swords of Ditto. This is going to be another downloadable game. It's already available to pre-order on Steam, and over there you can get a 20% discount, but the base price looks to be $20, and it's described as a compact action RPG that creates a unique adventure for each new hero of legend in the relentless fight against the evil Mormon. ammo. Now right away when you look at the Swords of Ditto, this has one of the best art styles that I've seen in a game all year. And best of all, with the Swords of Ditto, you can play solo, or it even features cooperative play. That's great to see. This year seems to be a great year for co-op gaming. We've had A Way Out, Swords of Ditto looks to be a solid co-op game, and then of course Divinity Original Sin 2 was confirmed today for PlayStation 4, so a lot of good stuff. Hopefully the Swords of Ditto turns out to be something good. This is another one that we don't have much to work on, and $20 is a little bit steep of a price point for a game like this. I could very well see it being a PlayStation Plus title in the future, or get discounted very quickly, because games like this usually don't garner large commercial success, but one that I and you guys should also keep your eyes on. The game itself will be releasing on April 24th. Another game you should absolutely wait on a sale for is Extinction. Now this is a game that has a reasonable amount of hype attached to it, but it's a brand new IP, it's rather ambitious, and it is being done by Iron Galaxy Studios. Extinction does have a very unique premise. You play as a man with rather incredible talents, but you're up against these colossal beings. It's seen a lot of comparisons to Shadow of the Colossus and even IPs such as Attack on Titan. However, the developers have touted that they believe this is their own unique creation, and they haven't drawn inspiration from IPs like that. This game has a lot of potential, but I'm always weary to recommend games with a lot of potential because it's really usually a crapshoot. Either it turns out really good or it's an absolute flop and this one ends up in the bargain bin in a month or two. And I can see Extinction being a game, even if it turns out well, games like God of War are just gonna outpace it in terms of their commercial appeal, and this one might very well falter from a commercial standpoint. I could easily see it being $35 or $30 by the end of May. I'm not saying that means the game is absolutely gonna flop, but I'm here to help you guys save as much money as you can, and with a game like God of War, I very much see that game retaining its value. I very much see Yakuza 6 retaining its value. With Extinction, I don't see this game retaining its value even in the short term. So this one is definitely gonna be a wait for sale. It does release on April 10th, so not too far out. And finally, another game that I've been talking a little bit about, Sinner's Sacrifice for Redemption. Sinner's Sacrifice for Redemption is a boss battler action RPG where you face 8 abhorrent bosses, the first 7 of each based on one of the deadly sins, and each gets more difficult because before every clash you must sacrifice a stat and level down to enter combat, so you get weaker and weaker as the game progresses. That's a pretty cool concept. When looking at the game right away, you're gonna draw a resemblance to Dark Souls, and that's definitely not a bad thing. We've seen a lot of games get the Dark Souls comparison, but this one has its own unique elements, so I can definitely appreciate that. The game seems very interesting, and this could be one of the sleeper hits of the year. Currently, it does not have a price attached to it. Hopefully, it's not priced at anything more than $30. This does look to be a smaller budget title. It's being done by a very small studio. Whenever a small studio puts out a game like this, I always hope for the best, but given its April 25th release date, I think most of us are going to be busy with Yakuza 6 and God of War, so this might be one to hold off on. Originally, I was hoping for this to be a PlayStation Plus title because I thought it could have gained a lot of attention that way. That didn't come to fruition, of course, but let's see if it turns out to be a solid game, but waiting for a sale might be your best bet. That is going to conclude this video. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Of course, as always, this is just one man's opinion. I think I always give pretty solid reasoning. However, with God of War and Yakuza 6, I think those are absolute must-buys for a lot of you guys. You might even be picking between one of those two games. And the rest of the month is made up by rather smaller titles. The only other one that seems to be gaining a lot of attention is Extinction, and I am very hesitant to tell you guys to drop the full $60 on that. Sound off with your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.